Your morning already satisfied itself. By the time you sit down at your desk, the damage is done. That frantic scramble for keys, the skip breakfast, the 3 things you forgot and remembered in the car, each one burned through a resource you can't get back. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why that groggy first hour dictates every choice you make, until your head hits the pillow again. Think about yesterday morning. Did you wake up with a plan, or did the day wake you up with a demand? Most people open their eyes already behind schedule. The alarm wasn't a start signal, it was a rescue siren. And from that first jolt of panic, every decision afterward carries a tax. The resources decision afterward carries a tax. The resources decision afterward carries a tax. Psychologists call it ego depletion. Your capacity to make controlled, deliberate choices shrinks with every decision you process. And mornings are a decision factory. What to wear, what to eat, where the keys went, whether to respond to that text now or later, whether you have time for coffee or need to skip it. Each micro-choice costs the same cognitive currency, whether the stakes are trivial or life-altering. Your brain doesn't distinguish between picking a shirt and choosing how to respond to a difficult email from your boss. So what happens when you blow through 40 decisions before 9 a.m.? You arrive at work already running on fumes. The important calls, the ones that shape your career, your health, your relationships, get the dregs, the leftovers. You gave your sharpest thinking to a sock drawer. A researcher at Ben Gurion University studied judges making parole decisions throughout the day. Early in the morning, judges granted parole about 70% of the time. By late morning, that number cratered to nearly 0. After a lunch break, it climbed back up. Same judges, same types of cases. The variable was when the decision landed in the sequence. Tired minds default to the safest, easiest option. For judges, that meant keeping someone locked up. For you, it means saying no to the gym, yes to the junk food, and I'll deal with it tomorrow to the thing that actually matters. But the chaos itself does something worse than draining decisions. It sets your emotional baseline for the entire day. You felt this. You spill coffee on your shirt at 7:15, and by noon you're snapping at a coworker over something you'd normally laugh off. That spill didn't ruin your afternoon. The cascade did. One disruption triggers a stress response. That response narrows your attention. Narrow attention makes you miss things. Missing things creates more disruptions. The morning didn't just start badly. It built a machine that manufactures bad moments all day long. Researchers at Ohio State tracked couples over several weeks and found that stress from morning experiences at home predicted conflicts at work that same day. The emotional residue traveled with people like weather they carried indoors. A rushed, reactive morning produced a rushed, reactive person for the next 12 hours. The body keeps the score of your 6 a.m. even at 6 p.m. So why do smart, capable people keep running chaotic mornings? Because chaos disguises itself as urgency. It feels productive. You're moving fast, reacting, solving small fires. Your heart rate is up. Adrenaline is flowing. That neurochemical cocktail mimics the feeling of getting things done. But reaction and intention are opposites. One burns energy, the other directs it. Picture 2 people waking up at the same time. One checks their phone within 30 seconds of opening their eyes. Notifications, news headlines, a text from a friend, a work email marked urgent. In under a minute, their priorities belong to other people. Their mental space is colonized before their feet touch the floor. The second person leaves the phone in another room. They drink water. They sit quietly for 5 minutes. Maybe they write 3 things they intend to accomplish today. The total time difference lasts until midnight. That 10-minute gap is where the real separation lives, between people who feel in control of their day and people who feel dragged by it. The actions are small enough to seem trivial. Drink water before coffee. Set out clothes the night before. Write down tomorrow's 3 priorities before bed. These sound like advice from a wellness blog, and that's exactly why people dismiss them. They're too simple to feel like solutions. But simplicity is the mechanism, not the flaw. Your morning brain operates on limited bandwidth. Complex routines fail because complexity is the very thing your waking mind handles worst. The people who maintain calm mornings year after year do it through systems so boring they require almost zero thought. Same wake time. Same first 3 actions. Same breakfast. The repetition converts choices into reflexes, and reflexes cost nothing. There's a counter-argument worth respecting here. Some people genuinely have chaotic mornings because their lives are chaotic. A single parent getting 2 kids ready for school while prepping for a shift that starts in 40 minutes, that person isn't failing at morning routines. They're managing triage. And telling them to just wake up earlier ignores the structural weight pressing down on their schedule. The principle still holds: fewer morning decisions mean sharper afternoon thinking. But the implementation has to fit the life. And some lives leave almost no margin. Acknowledging that matters, because false simplicity is its own kind of disrespect. For those who do have even a sliver of margin, though, the leverage is enormous. One study from the University of Nottingham found that people who followed a consistent morning structure reported higher feelings of control throughout the day, and those feelings predicted better performance on complex tasks in the afternoon. The morning didn't just set mood, it set capability. Think of your willpower as a phone battery. Most people wake up at 80%, not 100. Sleep quality, hydration, last night's stress, all of it affects your starting charge. A chaotic morning drains 30 or 40% before you reach the work that pays you bills or builds your future. A structured morning drains maybe 5. The math from that point forward is obvious. One person hits their hardest task at 75%, the other hits it at 40. Same brain, same talent, different capacity because of what happened before 9 a.m. And the compounding is a bad day. 5 bad mornings is a bad week. 50 weeks of bad mornings is a year where every important decision, career moves, relationship conversations, financial choices, got your worst thinking. Zoom out far enough, and the pattern explains outcomes people attribute to luck, talent, or personality. Some of it is just morning architecture. The shift starts tonight. Pick 3 decisions you currently make every morning and make them right now, before bed. What you'll wear, what you'll eat, what your first task at work will be. Write them down on paper. A screen invites scrolling, and scrolling invites other people's priorities. Put the paper where you'll see it before you reach for your phone. Tomorrow morning, those 3 decisions are already handled. You didn't eliminate chaos. You outran it by 12 hours. That's the advantage. You're competing with your morning self, and your evening self is sharper, calmer, less reactive. Let that version of you make the calls. 1 week of this, and you'll notice something strange. The afternoons feel different. You'll have energy where you used to have fog, patience where you used to have irritation, clarity where you used to have that dull sense of being behind on everything. The morning didn't just get better, it stopped poisoning the rest of your hours. Your 6 a.m. is writing checks. Your 3 p.m. has to cash. Start auditing what you spend before the sun comes up, because that account balance follows you everywhere. Into meetings, into arguments, into the mirror. Tomorrow's first decision is already waiting on a piece of paper by your bed. The only question is whether you'll read it before you reach for the glowing rectangle that wants to decide your day for you.